says hello. What's up, everyone? I am the High Priestess Phoenix, spiritual healer, teacher, shaman, seer, oracle, lightworker, starseed, earth angel, mystic, medium, psychic, witch, yogi, guru, evangelist, prophetess, messenger of God, child of God, the Lilith reincarnated on a Mercury day. Thank goodness Mercury's retrograde is over. Gosh, that was painful, wasn't it, though? Just wait, it'll happen again in another couple months. It's bullshit. I don't know how fast it does it. I think it does it like so many times a year. And that's it. You have so many opportunities a year to overcome your karma, your karmic ways. Every time that thing goes around, it's another opportunity for you to become stronger. Stop spinning the blockhead. I see all these posts, they're like, when you made it through the retrograde without hitting up your ex. No, I didn't make it. I still had repressed. I don't look at that as a bad thing, dude. I just look at it as you still got more work to do. I get irritated just like the rest of you. I wish these motherfuckers would just die already. You know what I mean? But it is what it is. Like, do you really wish death upon them? Not in the sense of what, real killers think, no. But, a death of their existence in some shape or form, that's good enough for me. In the sense of, everybody else has died. They're very much still living, but they're dead to me. I don't have to worry about them ever in this lifetime. In the essence, what are the chances that God's going to put my fucking karmic family members anywhere near me going forward? Not to say that they're not going to try to link up with me, but why would God, make that connection? Because I got more work to do, more forgiveness, understanding, and, compassion. That's about it. So every time you got to deal with an ex or someone you don't want to deal with, you just got to know that God wants you to have more compassion and understanding. There's more levels to this. And, that's only after me throwing a fit 2 weeks ago about waking up to Bobby's bullshit again. I'm like, come on, bro. I have done this enough. I have let this guy go a billion fucking times. Stop bringing his fucking bullshit into my fucking energy. Blah, 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 blah. You can't control it, dude. And the last thing you want is, like, when you've tried so hard to get over it, last thing you want to do is be put back in the bullshit. Well, guys, I just want you to know that shit happens about 4 or 5 times a year. So, if you're that person, I had a conversation with someone yesterday. It was really funny. They're like, people don't do this. I feel like a psycho. I was like, who said you're psycho? Just because I haven't done it. I mean, we could go do it. I could do what you're doing right now, and I could see how it feels. You know what I mean? You want to go, I could go sneak up on my twin flame. That's what I said. We can go stalk my twin flame and get caught and see how this feels. It's just so I can understand what it feels like to be you. Like, me on the other hand, I'm doing everything to get away from them. Last thing I want to do is be anywhere near them. But we could go into it if you want. Like, how low are you ready to go? I don't care. I don't understand where you're coming from. I'm willing to go sink real low to figure out what what you're feeling. I want to feel the suspense of getting caught by stalking someone. Not really. I don't want to be stalking nobody, but I understand. It's like, you're not the fucking first one, bro. I promise you, you're not crazy. Everybody thinks they're crazy because they do something that their brain is telling them is wrong. That was the whole conversation. It's like, I know I shouldn't be doing this. Says who? Your brain? I know I'm a bad person. Says who? Your brain? Your brain tells you that you're bad, bro. It tells you what's good and bad and what's right and wrong all the fucking time. And then you go into a fight with it because you think it's fucking right and you're trying to do what it says. If your brain was so right and tells you that this is wrong and you keep doing it, then how is it in any kind of control? Or you, for that matter. In the essence, it's just program, bro. You just gotta reprogram the motherfucker. But it's trying to tell you that you're a bad person all the time. I tried to tell you, all the evil that comes from the outside world is actually put inside of us by other people's words and what we've seen. So then the brain repeats it to us. When it's our own fathering and mothering system. When it sees us doing something that it has deemed as bad, it calls us bad and makes us feel bad for it. All we gotta do is tell it we're not being bad, and it'll stop making us feel bad for the things that we do. You know what I mean? But you're told that your actions are not good enough. I mean, I get it. I get why you feel shameful about where you currently are in your current situation. But you're not in a place that, that God isn't there, that you're not in a place where other people haven't been. You just are ashamed that it's you in this place right this moment. And you think that you should be better than this. That's, again, your fucking mind telling you what's good and evil, that you're a bad person, that you don't do such things, and you should never do this, and people don't do this, and that's not true, bro. That's not true, and that's why I came in, I'm like, that's not true, bro. You're lying. Your brain's lying to you. And it does all day. It tells you bullshit, bro, and you listen to it. And it makes your life painful. And that's what this is all hard about, is we're always trying to do the right thing. We're trying to be right by people, right? We're trying to do the right thing. Well, our understanding of right is created from a brain that lies to us. It only knows what we think is right. If we tell it that that's not right, then it can change. But that's, again, you know, redirecting, relearning, reteaching yourself not to think that way, to think differently. You can't just tell yourself in your thoughts. You have to physically speak it out of your mouth to you have to speak over your thoughts. When your brain is going, you've got to tell it what to think. Otherwise, you're just going to go with everything that you think, and that's going to lead you into a place of, why did I do this? A place of, why didn't I stop myself? You know what I mean? It's like, because you didn't even catch the fact that you weren't in control. And most people aren't. They're absolutely not in control of anything. They're just following their thoughts. So I just wanted to point that out. Like, this happens a lot, bro. It's nothing wrong with you that every time that planet shifts, you start getting shifty. You're not the only one, bro. It happens all over the planet. All over the planet, it happens to people. You just can't see how shifty they're being. But I promise you, every time that retrograde happens, people go backwards. You're shoved into your past. It's made to do that, because if we never looked backwards, we'd be fucked up going forwards, because we didn't see what we've already been through. If you don't look back at your memories to gain strength and clarity, then you're not going to be strong or, clear going forward. You already have the wisdom from what you've been through, but you haven't seen what you've been through. So you keep going through it to gain that wisdom. You can find the wisdom in what you've already been through, so you don't have to keep having the same shit experiences. So Mercury retrograde brings us back to what we've been through, so we can overcome it over and over and over again, so we don't have to keep doing it over and over again. In other places, people in Mercury retrograde, they go literally back to their exes. I can't prove it right this moment, but I bet if I could dig up my timeline of my life, every Mercury retrograde was when my ex-husband came back. I bet you I could prove it. I bet you I could prove it, bro. If I look through these I bet you I could prove it. He was on a very strict schedule of when he spent time in my house. He was only around between spring and summer in my house. And then he would show up again. He'd make it, right around Thanksgiving. You're like, that's not a marriage. I know, bro. Trust me, I know. Imagine. Every year after year, he would disappear after summer, and I'd sit there waiting and thinking, and then I'd finally get over it by Christmas, and then here he'd come back by spring when I was back on my shit. Only to wipe me out for the rest of the year, and take all year to rebuild myself. Patterns, bro. We just aren't aware of them. And then some of them you are aware of, that you just, how do I stop it? I know what I'm doing. How do I stop it? You have to talk to yourself. Literally, you have to talk yourself out of this shit. You can't do it in your mind, because your mind is louder than you. So you have to be louder than your mind. Your mind has to hear you. It can't hear you when you're talking in your head. It can't hear you. You're just passing thoughts through there. It sees what you do, what you say, and how you act. That's how it comes up with, information. Again, it doesn't happen overnight. If you're going to start talking positively, you have to keep doing it. Every time you say something negative, you tell yourself, we don't talk like that anymore. We're not going to say that. Meaning, it's we. I'm not against you. We're in this together. You must understand that your brain is its own functioning system. It's not apart from you, but it is a part of you. And you are not your thoughts. You're just supposed to, get to a place where you're witnessing them and working with them. But you're not your thoughts. They come from, just a Google search. You go outside and your brain tells you what outside is. If it's cold, if it's hot, if it's a good day, if it's a bad day, if it's whatever. Your brain is telling you based on what it's seen. You go outside and some shit I've never seen before. It's going to freak out on you. Because they've never seen it before. That's it. It's going to shove you into survival mode, because it's never been in this mode before. This is survival mode. Survival mode is, I've got to survive through something I've never survived through. So I'm going to turn on all my mechanisms, all my, emergency mechanisms to make it through that. And that's where you go into chaos mode. What made you go in chaos mode? Something simplistic of being somewhere where you didn't feel in control. Somebody took you to a restaurant you've never been to, and now you feel iffy. You've lost your sense of grounding. You're out of your comfort zone. You've never been here before. What if they put garlic on everything? Your brain starts coming up with these ideas. They put cheese in it. We're allergic to cheese. You know what I mean? Just comes up with all this shit. Now, going back to it, my favorite part about yesterday. I'm like, out of nowhere, I'm like, we're going to meet. I just don't want to drive all the way to you, and I don't think you should have to drive all the way to me. So let's find something. I'm looking at the map, I was like, let's meet at Cheeseman Park. They're like, why? I was like, I watched a show the other day that it's super haunted. I want to go do a cleansing over there. There's like ghosts and shit. I'm going to go do a ritual. You want to go? All right, I'll meet you there. And the whole time I was laughing. I was just laughing about the fact that they were like, yeah, okay. Because I get so many people that are just so fucking afraid. And then I set up my whole thing. There's bunches of people sitting there and shit, and they're watching, and they come to see it. It's like, you guys are just afraid in your ideas. But if you actually saw what I was doing, you know what I mean? We're just sitting there smoking well, she rolled a blunt, but we're just smoking some weed, burning some shit, praising God, catching fucking, good vibes and putting out good vibes. It's not a scary thing, but you're scared of it because of what you've seen on TV. Anyways, I was really excited about that. It's because I'm always, nobody does it. I can bring my daughter sometimes, but she doesn't stick with me. She just finds something to invite people. Going back to the Yule season, I had to do a Yule ceremony. So I tell everyone I'm going to have a bonfire. Invite, the couple of friends I have to bring their kids, and we can cook and we can do gingerbread houses. I invite Bobby. I invite some people, and no, I don't want to be part of that. Okay, fine. And then what did we do? We bonfired and made fucking, gingerbread houses. We do it. Just because you don't want to be part of it doesn't mean we're not going to do it. And you're missing out. There's nothing wrong with what we're doing. We're just doing something you ain't never did before. There will be food. That'll be funny. There'll be fire. Like, what's the problem here? I don't know. It was just cool to me. You know what I mean? That they didn't have the fear that everybody else I'm dealing with. And I got to be honest, it's a bunch of men that are always scared of all this shit. Just scared of some bullshit. I'm like, you're supposed to be a man? Like, you're supposed to be somebody's protector, bro, and you're scared of your imagination? Like, you have no proof. I had no proof that there was any fucking ghosts out there whatsoever. I didn't see shit. I didn't feel shit. I was jamming with the music. But there had to have been something out there for it to make, you know what I mean, America's top haunted places and, the 13 top places in America. Meaning it had bothered enough people that it was, on TV. Meanwhile, there's over fucking 50 motherfuckers running around here in the dark with their dogs doing all kinds of shit. Most of the fucking people don't even know that this is what it used to be. They have never seen nothing here. All I'm trying to do is get rid of whatever it is that, has been bothering people. But at the same time, I'm not hurting you. You're not in danger. I don't need to, you're not going to be in danger with me ever. Ever. I am the light. I am the protection. I am there to remove darkness and shit like that. But then people be like, oh, she's a witch and she's dark and she does all this shit. Fuck you, bitch. You're so fucking making shit up in your head, bro. The only thing dark about me is my humor and my fucking, the shit that comes out of my mouth. It's a little dark and dingy. I'm not a dark person. I don't do dark shit. I be talking dark shit, but I'm not that. I have yet to see one of those. Oh, well, except for Scary Larry. And that's because that nigga told me to my face that he was doing the shit. To my face. Scared the fuck out of me too, bro. Here I am, her whole earth angel, and I meet my first practitioner, and he's like, your magic isn't working on me. Oh shit, what am I gonna do if it doesn't work? That's all I know is how to protect myself. What do you mean it's not working? Holy Spirit's like, he's full of shit. And then he disappeared for 2 months. Bitch, that shit did work. Where the fuck were you? They said you were missing. You weren't at church. They haven't seen you. You shut down your shit. You weren't on the corner. Tell me my magic didn't work, bitch. Tell me my magic didn't work. You ain't out here stealing souls off the corner no more. Anyways, it was a scary thing, dude. Real story. Scroll back to the beginning of my of my YouTube. Scary Larry. He's fucking scary. And the answer is no, I don't do all that shit. But, I go and that's it. It's like, I was called. I saw this shit on TV. I gotta go do something. Nobody else is. Nobody else is being Ghostbusters out here. Nobody else even knows how to bust the ghosts. Nobody even cares. They're like, let them get you. In the essence. And they're like, so how's it work? Well, what's going to happen is I'm going to set this up right here, and it's going to cause fear. People are going to fear, and that's going to bring the ghosts. It's going to bring whatever's out here. They feed off of fear, right? So we're going to make the people fearful of me, and then they'll catch them in this globe. I took up my globe last night. The little one, the ball that catches them. And that's reason number 101 why I don't mess around with mirror magic. It's a mirror ball that catches them. They're stuck in it. They're stuck on the other side of the mirror. That's it. They come close and they're stuck. I was literally ghost catching, or, ghost hunting. In the sense of, I know how this works. Just don't be scared. You'll be all right. And if you get scared, you'll be all right. Don't be scared. And that's it, too. People were watching and stuff. It's like, I'm setting up a whole fucking ceremony right here. I'm fucking burning shit. They can smell the herbs. They see it. I've got fucking, you know what I mean? I'm burning candles and all that. They know I'm doing some kind of witchcraft. So they get scared. I'm here to save you, dickhead. But I do need your fear a little bit to bring in whatever's out here, because I'm not scared of it. It's looking for fear. So I need you to fear me so that I can catch this thing. It's a little bit of a setup. But I like the fact that they didn't care. They were like, they didn't feel unsafe with what I was doing. I was like, I don't care what you're doing. Are you done yet? Not yet. I gotta wait till this is all burnt up. You know what I mean? That's it. How long do you stay at these places? Long enough for the fucking herbs to burn? And that's it. Sometimes I gotta wait there a long time for that shit to burn. That's why I'd be like, blowing on the shit. Like, hurry up, burn up. That's it. That's as long as I stay. I don't be staying for fucking ever. I'm not making this a fucking field trip. I'm not moving in. So then the next thing I was talking about was, sorry, I just saw some cool things hanging from somebody's dashboard. They have a little vial, they have a stone, and they have an amulet. In the vial, it looks like mine. What do you mean? Like this one. This one is my Archangel Raphael. They have a little tiny one. I don't want to flash the car at you, but I just looked over and they have them hanging from their rear view mirror, a couple little things. That's cool. Sorry, sidetracked. And then I was like, do you want to go, or I was like, something. I don't know how it came across, but I was telling him how I wanted to go do the baptisms up at the hot springs for the full moon this weekend. I was like, it's a full moon, it's a whole placing. I was trying to explain it. It's like Jesus, you know what I mean? You got to be placed, washed from the waters, be put back in the earth, and be grown back, regrown from the earth, reseeded from the earth. It's a rebirthing. Yeah, sounds like a great idea. Let's do that. I was like, cool, let's do it. So that was cool too. It's like, it was just, I'm constantly trying to invite people to be part of my shit, but they be like not wanting to be part of my shit. And I was surprising, that's what happened with Tree. I would invite everybody on the internet every weekend, all the time. I'm going to be at Red Rocks, guys, if you want to hike with me. I'm going to be at Red Rocks, guys, if you want to hike with me. I would tell people what I was going to do and invite them to be part of my doings. I don't know if people showed up and stalked or they just never ever showed up. But I always did. So then with Tree, that was the same thing. It's like, what are you about to do? I'm going to go hike at Red Rocks. You want to go? Yeah. And then he said, yeah, and I'm freaked out because nobody ever says yeah, and I don't know you, and this is weird. And that's where it was, too. It's like, nobody ever says yes. Okay, this is different. In the sense of it was just really different. It's like, wow, there's company. You know what I mean? I just mind my business. I just do whatever I do by myself. It's different to have somebody around while you're doing stuff. It was for me. And then, like, afterwards, we went out to eat, and that was really cool. And then, this is what really was cool that happened. So we're going to leave, and I'm like, hold on, let me have a cigarette before we go. They're like, no, you can smoke in my car. I was like, that's fucking gross. I was like, I don't want your car to smell like my car. I was like, just because I smoke doesn't mean I would like the smell of that bullshit. I was like, no, I'm going to stand outside of your car and have a cigarette. And I'm standing there. Within a second, somebody, a passerby asked me for a cigarette, and then a light, and then they just start pouring their shit on me. And I'm like, it happens all the time. I was like, they're like, what are they talking about? So whatever shadows, they just need someone to be heard, and they feel safe to talk to me. So they just need to, spit some shit out. And then they were right there with their phone showing me all these things and just rambling about all kinds of shit in their life that's wrong. It's just a street person. But this person has somebody on the street that'll listen to them, that's being kind to them. And I am. I don't care. I'm not going to push you away. If you want to, And then, like, as we're standing there, then this other dude comes up. And the other dude is like, gives this person a compliment. They're like, that was nice. I was like, you wouldn't have got the compliment if we were sitting inside of the car. They would have never seen you. And I was like, and what you don't understand, as much as it felt nice to you, imagine it felt nice to them. They don't see people like us. They just saw beautiful women. You know what I mean? That was cool to them. And they stay, that was, that's the blessing. I was like, we always want to go outside and we want people to, shower us with love. But us being outside is a shower to the other people. I was like, he probably hasn't seen a beautiful lady all day or even maybe all week and just has to be strolling down, after his long night and he sees a beautiful woman. That was a blessing to him. And he mentioned it to you. And in the same sense, it made you feel good too because he said something. It's like, yeah. And I was like, that's it. It's just the exchange. So most of the time, God wants us to go out and just spread our love, just like that person that was talking to me. Nobody listens to them. Nobody cares about them. Nobody ever, they've never have anybody to talk to. And I can relate to that because that's me. I don't talk to nobody wants to listen to my bullshit. I don't talk to nobody. So it's like, I feel it. And then we were talking about the guy that, gave the compliment. And both of us were in agreement. It's like, if a man is going to be brave enough to talk to me, then he deserves my time and energy because there's too many that are too afraid. And that's really the truth. It's like, if you're going to, and that's how I look at a whole life. If you're going to come up and talk to me, then God says, so shall it be. If you're brave enough to approach me, then you deserve my energy. You know what I mean? Because most won't. And that's people that are nice to me. I tell them all the time. People aren't nice to a witch. I appreciate you a whole bunch. People aren't typically nice to me. I appreciate your niceness. I appreciate your kindness. I appreciate your, your compliments and stuff. I don't go looking for it, but when you get it, you're very grateful for it. And you got to explain to that person how, how they impacted your day. Hey, you changed my day, bro. You're the only person that said anything nice to me in a long time. I appreciated that. And that encourages them to keep being brave and saying, approaching strangers. It's not easy to say, to talk to a stranger. But, you know what I mean? And yeah, the crazy people always want to talk to people. But at the same time, in essence, you'd have to be crazy to approach me. Everybody else sees me, then you don't see what they see. You just see a woman, and that makes it more special, They see, I wear, you hear all this, all my chains, all of that. The more you stare at me, the more you realize this isn't fashion. Something else is here. She's something else. And you're afraid of me. And that's, and if it wasn't that, it was the way I dressed as, as a female in general, just always being all unapproachable. There's some of us that are just, we give off an unapproachable vibe, but then there's those that are real down to earth that don't catch that vibe. They're not intimidated by us. They don't see that. It's not even like we're giving it off. It's that people, that's what people, like, I didn't mean to intimidate you. I'm not trying to make you feel small. You feel insecure in your own skin, and I'm not, and it has nothing to do with me. And you don't get no right to take it out on me because I'm shining brighter than you. That's not fair. So then you're going to try to be like me and try to shine. It's not on the outside of why I shine. In essence, where does all the judgment come from? My light. They see me. They just don't accept me when they see me. But they're drawn to me. Just like I said. So anyways, I want to talk about a couple of those things. I had a good... all my adventures out are some kind of adventure. And that was cool. Went to a place I never went before, did some, hung out with people I never hung out with before, went to a restaurant I never went to before. It was a good time. It was unexpected and it was good. And when it goes back to it, my cards yesterday said, and it was the Empress card, a nurturing feminine figure. And as much as I was there to be the healer, it was an equal exchange of, you know what I mean? Of the nurturing feminine. It really was. So I appreciated that. And it's just, change. Unexpected change. And it was cool. I don't know. I mean, again, it's like if I invited you to go ghost hunting, would you? Nah, bro. For what reason, though? For what reason? You know what I mean? You don't trust me? You don't trust God? What is it? What would people say? I don't know. Who cares? Actually, they had a lot to say. Some dude came up and talked all kinds of shit. It was a funny conversation, too, because he sold hot dogs. So, I had a lot to say about that. I thought it was hilarious. I don't remember what his name was. It was something goofy, too. He had this cool nickname. Like Stinky Danky or something. I don't know. People. I attract the weirdest ones. Just like myself. Anyways, I just wanted to point that out. Like, it was cool to, like, companionship. You know what I mean? Connection was cool. That was cool. And the day before, I didn't want to. I had thrown a fit. I was like, forget it. I'm not going to try. It's too hard to be somebody's friend. It's too hard. I'm going to have to do whatever you want to do, and I'm only there to serve you, and da-da-da-da. And then it turned around, and that wasn't the case. And it was different, you know what I mean? Like, you don't understand. I invite everyone. You know, when I went to go do my ceremony up at the lunar moon, the New Year's lunar fucking whatever, up at Blackhawk, I had invited Taz. But then she bailed on me. She was going to come with me, but then she bailed on me. People always say they'll do some shit with me, but then they don't. And it's fine. I'm used to just being alone. So it was extremely surprising that somebody wanted to do it. They're like, you would have just went out there and did it by yourself? Yeah, I'm not scared. I mean, maybe my skin would have if something would have came out, but I didn't see anything. It was just a bunch of people hanging out and shit. It was a good day. It was pretty. They were playing music. There was rollerbladers. There was dancers. There was all kinds of cool shit. It was some shit you see at, like, I don't know, not typically that you see at every park. It was some bougie shit, to be honest. They weren't homeless people or anything. So it was cool. If I was going to be a ghost, I'd want to be in a nice neighborhood like that, just hanging around with these fucking people. They didn't have no fears of the world. They didn't, I don't know. I don't think they were scared. Nobody knew out there what was out there. I never knew it. It's a fucking, you know, it's just a nice neighborhood. And had I not seen it on Hulu, I wouldn't have known it was haunted. And that's it too. It's like, who told you? Somebody had to tell you it was a bad place before, you know? You didn't know it was a bad place till somebody told you it was a bad place. Oh, you shouldn't be going there. Why? What's over there? God doesn't live there. Bullshit. Bullshit. It's ungodly. Shut up. Like, he's not watching out for those people. You're so stupid. People be like swearing that God's only in the churches, dude. Like, you guys swear. You swear. Like, he didn't see what you did last night. He knows what you do every day. Anyways, going back to it, I just wanted to share that experience. People can surprise you. As I guess the point of that, people will surprise you. And that's a good thing, not always a bad thing. It was just a good experience, dude. You have to share the good ones and the bad ones. I was surprised, bro. In a good way. I was surprised in a good way. I lost my connection and was just rambling. I looked down and it just said... I lost my connection and was just rambling. I looked down and it just said reloading. So I don't know what the fuck, where I left off at. Oh, fuck. I don't know how long ago you would just stop listening to me. That's it. I was just pleasantly surprised. And again, all I was trying to do was, you know, push myself to offer my services to be helpful to somebody. And in doing so, I very much enjoyed myself and had a good connection. And that's not usually how it works out. And I'm happy. I'm grateful. I'm grateful for, you know, God sending me a different type of person that just doesn't want, you know what I mean? I don't know. I don't want to put too much on the fact that people don't just want. But in the essence, it was nice to have some equal exchange. You know? People are like, what does it take to... I don't know. Something simplistic. Kindness, bro. Actual connection. And that's what I said. God can't force people to come into my life. But I guess, you know, in a sense, if you need something from me, then that's, you know, what's going to bring you in. At least he gave me a reason, I guess. You know, that goes back to your purpose. It's like, he has a purpose for you to, you know, to serve people. And in doing that, that's going to bring you joy, is the whole point of it. And that's what it is, you know, being able to, that's it, just meeting up with that person. I didn't have the full intention. I didn't plan on going ghost hunting. I was trying to find a way somewhere in between both of us to meet. And in between was the ghost. I was like, that seems about right. All right, we'll do what you got to do, and we'll do, you know, a little bit of you, a little bit of me, and we'll do this. And it was cool as fuck. Again, I don't interact with equal give and take relationships. It's usually just me giving and them taking, and me just be like, oh, okay. And I don't be sour about it. I just be like, you know, limiting. Because, you know, after a while, it doesn't matter who you are. If you've had so much taken from you, you feel depleted. You feel used. And you have to remind yourself that nobody took nothing. You were out there giving. You were out there being the, the giving tree and shit. This isn't nobody's fault. You just need to rebuild yourself. You'll be okay again. In the sense of whatever it may be. I shouldn't have fucking spent all that money. It's okay. You were given from an open heart. You weren't, showing off. You weren't, it'll be okay. You'll get more money. I shouldn't give them all my time and stuff like that. No, I don't want to hold back. Because what's worse than that is the regret of I should have done more. I could have done more. If I would have done more. When things fall apart and you've done all that you can, it's an extra incentive. You don't have that. There's a lot that you still have to move forward, but you don't have that. Well, maybe if I would have done more. And I was, going back to Bobby, it's like, what? I didn't give him a good enough blowjob? Maybe I should have fucked him too. Maybe I should have done more and he would have called me back. Do you understand what I mean? It's like, maybe I should have done more is what you think. And then you're left in this feeling that you didn't do enough and this is your fault. But when you've given it your all and it didn't work, then you fully know it wasn't your fault because you gave it your all, bro. Like, I don't know what you wanted. I tried my hardest. And when they expect you to try harder, you realize that they're just being assholes because you literally tried your hardest. But if you didn't give it your all, then, you know what I mean? Then there's no conversation to really be had. People like to say that relationships are 50-50. That you're only giving half of yourself to this relationship. And if I'm only giving my half of me, then we're not fully, you know what I mean? We're not giving fully to this relationship at anything. And that's it too. Whatever I do, I give 100%. I just can't give 100% to everything all the time. I have to delegate that 100%. You're always going to catch 100% of me. But, you know what I mean? I got to break that down into, quarter percentages of where I can put 100%. And that's, going back to it, it's like, as a giver, sometimes you get overwhelmed that you gave too much. But at the essence, the good thing is that you didn't hold back. And that's what God wants us to do, because you really don't know what will happen. When you hold back, you hold yourself back. But if you give your whole self, you don't know what will happen. And sometimes they will match it. And going back to Bobby, that's it. What happens if I do this? If I really give myself to you and stop holding back? What happens if I give into my desire to be close to you? And I really do this? Will it change anything? That's what I learned. You know what I mean? I had to see, because I kept blaming it on it didn't work because I was holding back. If I would have just kept talking to him and trying to work this out, we could have had some kind of connection. So the whole point was, what if I don't hold back? What if I don't hold back and I just give 100%? Will it change the outcome? Because that's how it always was, is I had all of this, you could have done better. If you would have, you know what I mean? Going back to Oklahoma. We had a great conversation, right? But then he said something that triggered me. And then within minutes of the conversation, I blocked him. I didn't talk to him for months. And I look back at that. Within a day, I was like, why did you do that? If you would have just been stronger, you could have accomplished more. But you gave up way too early. You held back. You didn't want to deal with the next morning. You didn't want to see him the next, you ran away. And so I had a lot of that. It's like, if I would have just said the truth, maybe this, things would have been different. And so that's where it had to be, is like, at the very end, it's like, I want to see what happens if I don't hold back. I saw what happened. And that's where you sit back. It's like, why didn't you know that this was going to happen? If I knew it was going to happen, do you think I would have done it? There's no way I could have known he was going to ghost me, bro. There's no way I could have known that. Do you think I would have gave all myself knowing that? Did he know he was going to ghost me? Do you think that he spent all that time fighting his fears, putting himself in danger, putting his marriage in danger, you know what I mean, fucking around at work and shit just to meet me? You think he had every intention to just get a blowjob and ghost me? You think that was really his plan? I could show you in the messages. It didn't look like that. because it started out very innocent to where, we're not going to be physical, and, and we shouldn't have that kind of relationship, and we should just be friends. So in essence, it's like, did he mean to be mean? Did we mean for any of this? No, we didn't know what. We fucked around and found out what was going to happen. And maybe he fucking, he mirrored the same thing I did to him all those months ago. Why didn't I just talk to her? I don't know. It took me a long time to figure out why I didn't want to talk to you after it happened. And that's your own thing. That's your own self-healing journey. And then you look back and you're like, fuck. Why did I do this? Because you were holding back. But it's not a bad thing because you weren't ready. You know what I mean? Going back to, like, sleeping with someone. Like, they say, what's wrong with having sex on the first date? I don't know. If you don't hold back, then you don't hold back. Who said that you're wrong? If you feel this, you feel safe, and you feel that you can handle what's about to happen and the next day, then what's the problem? Most of us hold back because we're not ready for that closeness yet. I'm not ready to take it that way. I don't know if I can handle the next day and the days to follow. I like what we have now. I know this is going to change everything. Right? So, I don't know. But in the essence, it's like we hold ourselves back out of protection. And what's holding us back? Our mind. What we think. We're trying to do the right thing. Going back to my situation, like, it was only going to be wrong going forward. It was only going to be wrong going forward. He knew that that was wrong to put me in that position. I knew it was wrong to put him in that position. Anything forward was only going to make us feel more condemned. And he probably felt condemned for that one. I just personally didn't, because my intentions were right. You know what I mean? I was, I just wore it. But in the sense of, it's like, you had to go there to find out how far, you had to go to the limit to see that this is the limit and where the limit is. And, you know what I mean? That's the truth, is like, we were pushing the limits just talking. This is not going to end well. We're going to end up doing something that is going to be disrespectful to my spirituality or to your fucking wife. All right. Said, were we doing what we thought? Were we chasing, our thoughts? Or were we chasing our hearts and making all these wrong decisions? We were fully aware what we were doing was wrong. According to it, our brains kept telling us it was wrong. Separately and together. We have the messages to prove that both of us are in agreement that this is wrong. But it felt right. But are we going to keep being wrong? And that's where I don't fault him for making a very difficult decision to cut it off. I don't. Somebody had to. It was only going to end worse. What if I normalized that? What if I got deep into it? What if we started having an affair and I ended up this bitch? He saved me from myself, in the sense of, I didn't have control with him. I just wanted him. And he just wanted me, and somebody had to say no. And that's him, all morally right and shit. Right on, guy. Right on, I guess. Whatever. Then you gotta reprogram your mind. Spend all this time allowing yourself to get close, only to tell yourself you have to let go now. Fuck off. Fuck off, bro. 2 years I told myself to stay away from you. 4 months I tell myself to get close to you. To spend the rest of my life telling myself that I can't have you. What the fuck, God? It's not a fun fucking journey. Fuck. Mercury retrograde. Let's hope it doesn't happen again. And then, again with that, they all come to the surface. They all come boiling to the top of the surface. So we had to let go of Russ, too. We got disconnected for like a whole couple of minutes. I started getting upset and the phone shut down. What did I say? I said that this Mercury retrograde, learned some hard lessons about letting go. I had to let go of more layers and more people. And when the phone cut off, I was screaming about Allie. It's like, dude, you too, bro. I have no reason but this. Like, seriously? But that's what it was. It's like you had to reface these relationships and how the dynamics of these relationships and if they were serving to you. And you had to move on. And that's what it is. How do we move on? They showed you the way. You're going to move to a whole nother land where they don't exist, called Patreon. Oh my God. If you say so. Sounds like a great idea, right? Sounds like a good idea. In the sense of they still live. They're just dead to me. And they'll be like, they're totally still alive. Yeah, so is Pac. They're dead to you, but I see them all the time. Sorry, that was a fun one. No, this retrograde was a good one. First one of the year. Get ready for a couple more of these bitches. And each time, bro, they're going to bring up your past so you can let it rest. You got to go right back into it, though. Some cases, some sense of it or another, you're going to be in it to win it. In the sense of you feel like you're a loser while you're in it. You're like, God, I'm such a loser, right? Are you retrograding? Yeah, just like the planet. Come back when it's done. I'll be back to myself. As much as I like to say I'm above the fucking planetarial energy, I'm not. I work with it. It fucks me up too. Are you guys ready for this full moon? It comes in 3 days. For a witch, it's 3 days, dude. The day before, the day of, and the day after. But I catch it as soon as it's catching the east. So we're pretty much in it to win it. And how are you going to spend your full moon ceremony? I'm going to go do the hot springs. I'm going to go fucking be baptized in the mountain and in the water and, be a new person. And then again on Saturday I start my Patreon and stuff. Also in the middle of the night I woke up with something and I put it on there. It was like 3 o'clock in the morning. The documentary is it's gonna destroy you guys. Not the actual documentary itself, it's full of mystery. I'm not actually putting you guys too much in it. But when they start watching those videos, you're gonna have all kinds of people in your face asking you questions. It's up to people's judgment how they see you. Remember, I had to live with you and I had to see you through I felt it, how I felt about you. But I had to see you through Jesus' eyes. They're not going to be they don't have the same vision as I do. I just want to show that. So in the middle of the night, that's what I woke up to, is like, this is going to destroy all of them. They're children's children. And that's what I said. It's like, dude, when they realize that you fucked over an earth angel, what you don't understand is it's destined to be known that I am an earth angel here, that I'm the prophet. Right? When they find out that you did it to a prophet, to an earth angel, to you did all that stuff, and that your whole careers, when they start, you know what I mean? When they realize all your songs that you really robbed and stole from me, all that shit, and lied, and all the shit you really did to me, and how I was Christ-like about it, they're going to hang you. And that's why God let it be that way. God said that you'll get yours. By who? The people. The people will judge you. I don't judge you. I mean, I did when it was happening. I tried to make sense of what was happening, but ultimately God made me see it in His way, regardless to how I felt about it. And I acknowledged that how you were making me feel, but He wanted me to see it that way and not seek vengeance, not go after it, not become wrathful, just give it to Him. So I did. What did I give to Him? The whole story. And now I'll give it to the people, and they can judge you. The very people you're out here begging for attention and lying to and stealing from and cheating are going to be the very people that rip you to pieces. And I guess that serves you right too, Allie. You know what I mean? All of you. You're about to get served real hard. Real hard. And you had an opportunity to leave your careers before they got taken from you. You think it doesn't happen, but you've seen it over the years. What happened to what's his name? Little Baby? He came out of festival and started making homosexual remarks, and now he's never been on the charts. He was the biggest thing until he opened his mouth, and they won't play him no more. They decide, the people decide what's right for the people. And when they see the truth of who you are, not only how you treated me, but how you used it to make yourself bigger, they're going to destroy you, bro. They're going to censor the shit out of you, and you think it can't be done, but when they stop, they stop. And I just want to laugh about it. The spirit said it. I said I wouldn't give him any energy, but the spirit is super on your ass right now. Russ has been selling an album for over a month now that hasn't actually came out. It has no release date. This is an absolute gimmick that is definitely going to backfire at him. He's been taking in people's money for over a month for an album that has not released. Meaning he just has your money. He has no product. This is a whole joke. I was thinking about it, you know what I mean? What happens if by some circumstance of disaster and all those handwritten albums or something happens to that whole place? You know what I mean? Why is he taking his time? Because the more time he spends, the more he can get his album sales up. Once the album's released, it goes off of 1 week. All the previous sales before that week and that week. So he's spending his time trying to get his album sales up instead of what it should be in 1 week. It's a gimmick. He's trying to juice it. We got cut off. Just because you're doing it crooked doesn't mean you're going to get away with it. You think you're being inventive and doing something new. You're cheating and lying. And you've literally stole people's money. When they've given you money and you haven't given them what they paid for, and you keep making them wait and wait and wait until you're done spending money on the beach and doing all this stuff, that's not good business, bro. I don't know what you think you're doing, but I can see it. We can see it. Us business folk can see what the fuck you're doing to the people. How you're raping and robbing them to fill your own pockets and have a nice vacation. New music coming next Friday, right? Hey, for the rest of you, it's a good day. What did you learn? What did these retrogrades teach you about yourself? Mercury retrograde and Venus retrograde was about our interactions and our interpersonal relationships, not just our intimate relationships. You know what I mean? But I went through a lot and I discovered a lot, and now as I'm coming out of it, there's new relationships to be had, and that's why we went through that, so we can be better in our new relationships, so we don't repeat the patterns that we saw in our past relationships that you know what I mean, that still live on the surface. You know what I mean? So in essence, learning those really hard lessons for myself and setting my boundaries, you know what I mean? Like, yes, the other day I got a little sour and I blew up about the fact that you shouldn't be fucking, you should respond when I text you. Even though I was above the top in my delivery of what I meant, I was able to explain, I've been ghosted my whole life, and I'm the type of person that would sit there and sit unseen waiting for you to come back and get me. And I've learned, not to do that and to set up a boundary to do that. And I apologize that you had to catch the worst of that. But that was years and years of taking this kind of behavior and then finally standing up. And it was you that I stood up to. But now, it was an opportunity for me to tell the whole world, I will not do this. Tell myself, you, and the whole world, no more going forward. But the old me, yeah, I would have been so understanding. I'll wait 3 days for you to get back to me. And I don't, I forgot I messaged you, I'll allow that shit to fly. And that's it too, is like you realize, no, this type of shit, I don't like this and it hurts me and I don't want to do this. And that was a reflection of our, interpersonal relationships on different levels. Going back to my relationship with, what do I want going forward? What's the benefit of being friends to these people? What was I hoping for? And that's where you got to ask yourself, what did you want from Royce? I wanted his voice. What did I want from any of them? I don't want your clout, bro. I want your voice. I want the very power that God gave you, and I wanted you to use that power for God. And I was trying to inspire you, you know what I mean, to use the right words. But in essence, I can't put words in your motherfucking mouth. And every time you try to take my words and put them in there with no experience, you sound like this fucking clown. So that's what it is. It's like, what did you want from Russ? What did you want from Bobby? What did you want from these people? Be honest with yourself, bro. Why did you act like that? You wanted something, dude. You wanted something. That's why you acted like that, bro. You did it. Why did I think that way? Why did I act like that? Because what did you want? Why were you willing to go that low? Why were you willing to tolerate people like that? Why were you willing to accept things that you don't want? Because what I really wanted was them. What did you want from them? And that's where you go into it, and you got to break it down, and you start to see how low you will go for what you want. And then you got to ask yourself, do you really want, okay, I wanted that, but is that what you want from them? And can they give you what you want? And then you can step back and realize it. And that's what I said too. It's like Bobby told me over and over and over that he could not be the man that I wanted. It was only till I, you know what I mean, I realized that what I wanted, that I could accept that. And you know, and that's going back to it. It's like, what do you want from these men? They're not capable of this. So move on. And it's a painful experience, you know what I mean? But in the essence, it's like, all right, that's what I learned. I learned some really hard lessons, and I walked away with stronger than I was. And that's what these retrogrades are about, is, you know, when it pulls away, it makes us face the truths. And that's what this was all about. Venus is coming back, you know, obviously the full moon by Friday. And for those that don't know, Libra is her sign. So it's balanced. And everything should be balanced out as long as you balanced it out before this happens. Otherwise, you've got more lessons. And that's just it, too. It's like we're just learning. It's like it's a never-ending evolution of learning about ourselves and others. And, you know, loving ourselves and others. And that goes back to it, you know. No. Saying no is showing love, bro. Self-control is something that I'm realizing a lot of people don't have. It's like nobody can stop you. You have to stop you. You have to stop you. You have to have control over you. You're aware of when you're out of control, but what do you do to take control of yourself? How do you stop yourself? You know what I mean? And that goes back to self-discipline, self-awareness, self-realization. How much time are you putting into yourself? Or you're just trying to put yourself out into the world. You know what I mean? How much time are you spending putting yourself out into the world? A lot to be learned and told. It's a beautiful day in the neighborhood. I just wanted to share that with you. There's a lot of stuff, and I'm sure it'll come out in the cards later. I'm going to take a break and jammy jam, and we'll jam on it. And what did you learn? What did you learn during this retrograde? And are you ready to apply that new understanding to your life? Knowing it is one thing. Walking in it is very difficult. Because, you know, you may do it today. It's creating a new habit. As hard as it could be for you to go to the gym is as hard as it's going to be for you to change your life. It's like you could do it today because you're all pumped up today, but tomorrow you're not feeling it. You have to have discipline, and you have to tell yourself, and you have to do this. You have to redirect yourself until this becomes pattern. This becomes a new way of life. And, you know, we're almost there. Friday then. And we're building up to it. And it's, again, a focus on relationships. This is all about relationships right now. They usually are. Because our relationships are a reflection of us. That's why I'd be like, not fucking around with nobody. I'm like, I gotta work on me. Can't work on you. But then, you know, now it's like at a place where they were pushing me out. They're pushing people into my life, and they're pushing me to be brave and go out and, you know, be part of it. And it's a push. No matter what side of the fucking coin you're on, it's a push. They're just pushing you to greatness. And it's like, I am great right now. I feel great, but, you know, we can always get better by more experience. That's where we got to push our limits. Push it to the limits. Where the fuck does that come from all the time? I know it's from a song. Can anybody tell me what this song is? I don't know. Maybe I should just type it in Google. Hey guys, oh, I'm pushing your limits. Hey, have a wonderful Wednesday, Mercury day. Mercury is about communications and speaking, you know, from your heart and having, you know, the breakdown, the connections. It's really about that. Communication is connection. You know what I mean? How you communicate is how you connect. So that's what today is about, is making connections and communications and making sure that you know, communicate properly. It's about giving speeches, really, they say. So that was a good speech. I'll give you another speech later. Later, haters.